It's 2 p.m. Detroit, and you know what that means. Detroit media icon Ryan Ermanni, University of Michigan great Braylon Edwards, and of course, Maz are about to take over on Woodward Sports. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m., it's the best Detroit sports talk on Detroit's best sports network, Woodward Sports.
Hey, let's go. Tuesday show, July 30th, 2024. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button as well. We appreciate you watching however you are consuming Woodward Sports. Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Good afternoon, my friends. Good to be back. You know, last week I was able to go to New York. I got a chance to visit my old team. And then yesterday, Jalen Rose had his outing. I got a chance to see Chris Webber and them in the first time in the same space. So a little whirlwind tour. I don't know where you want me to start.
No, yeah, no doubt about it. I want to say hello to Tom Mazaway as well. Tom, how are you? USA.
Hey, fellas. I'm rocking the World Baseball
Well, we can't
Classic.
see it because of the laptop.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. Look at that. USA.
There you go.
Curtis Granderson on the back, championship team from the U.S. Good days, man. But the Tigers, we're under 4 hours, if you're watching live, to the trade deadline. And the Orioles just picked up a pitcher from Miami in Trevor Rogers, and they traded their 7th-rated prospect.
Yeah, don't get too excited,
that.
gang.
So,
I didn't get too excited.
so I guess I'm just waiting to see if the Tigers are going to do anything.
And they probably won't. But we'll get into that. Pete
Houston gave up the farm yesterday for a dud
of
a pitcher in Yakuchi. A dud.
Ugh.
Crazy, man. Just goes to show you some guys.
Maybe we asked for too much.
Right, it is, no doubt. Pete Spivak is with us. Intern James is with us as well. James in the audio booth today. How you doing, James?
Feeling good, man.
Jeez.
Happy to be here, man.
Yeah, you firing off on that.
You're making the rounds, I see.
Music, huh? I didn't hear any music in my ear. You firing it off?
Firing it off,
All
man.
right,
I wanted to hear your intro first,
right,
though,
very
man.
good.
I know
Just
you were
making sure.
excited. I couldn't, I didn't want to
More
disrupt
you can
that.
do, I see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Pete, you good over there, my friend?
Doing well.
All
Doing
right,
well, bro.
Very good. Braylon, you had a heck of a couple of days.
Yeah.
First and foremost, Jets training camp on Saturday. What was that like, man?
Yeah, that was fun. We got some pictures. Appreciate that, Pete.
Woody Johnson put that out there.
Woody's my guy, man. Like, Woody definitely is my guy. He represents. I actually asked him last time I saw him. I said, Woody, you're kind of in the know on these posts. Is this you post? He said, oh, Braylon, it's me. He said, Braylon, it's me. Every once in a while I ask for some help, but, that's me. That's my page. But it was fun. It was good to go to Jets. Antonio Cromartie, who, if you're watching, you can see in his picture now. 242 he is now.
Oh, man.
Ryan Ermanni. He can be an outside line. In fact, he's bigger than outside linebackers now are in the NFL. But he's on the coaching staff. Mark came back.
Sanchez,
man. It was always good to see. Mark's is such a great guy, and we were able to talk about the NFL. You would have fun with this conversation, Maz. He was talking about how he was on the number 2 team, or how he was on number 4 last year. Now he's on number 3 team, the Fox team. He says Greg went to 2.
He's moving up.
He and Amin or somebody.
Yeah.
Adam Amin.
There you go, Adam Amin.
He took over Mark Schlereth's place. Mark Schlereth got bumped down.
Yeah, he said he's moving up. He's doing well. We talked about the Jets. It was fun to watch the Jets practice this year, and I say they look different. I'm not trying to jump on the bandwagon, but I would love a Jets-Lions Super Bowl. The difference in how they look this year, Ryan, though, is last year when you go, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback, you're excited about that. He connects with Garrett Wilson every once in a while.
Did you have a chance to talk to him?
I talked to Garrett. I took some film of him when we sit there and chopped it up. He grew up in Ohio around the time I was playing for the Browns, so he always reminds me of that. I'm like, all right, I'm not that old, but a lot of respect there. The difference in this year, Maz, where I really believe in this team, is when you watch practice, defense was a catalyst last year. Even though they had Aaron, defense was destroying them in practice. Even the Bucks had success on that offense.
They could have just scored 17 points a game. They would have won 10 games.
100%. So the defense is always setting the tone, whether it's Sauce, DJ Reader, CJ Mosley, Quinnen Williams. He looks real good this year. He's back. That offense is just as good now. You get some blocking up front. They bring in 2 guys from the Baltimore Ravens, Tyron Smith from the Cowboys, trying to shore that line. Breece Hall, man, as you called it, Breece Hall looks really, really good. Then Garrett Wilson's looking good.
We saw some
lists. 1,600 yards total.
We saw some
100%
lists that
agree.
had him as the second best running back in the game.
He went for 1,500 last year, and this is coming off an ACL
With no quarterback.
in year one with no quarterback and no offensive line.
They've also said Aaron Rodgers will not play in the preseason.
Don't need to.
Just read that today.
Don't need to. Like, you know what he came back up last year. You know how old he is this year. Like, the regular seasons would matter. If anybody can just jump into the game, it would be Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be locked and loaded. They have defense. They have offense. It was fun to watch those guys. And then I come back on Sunday, and I get to bring it back home with Jalen Rose Foundation. They had their kickoff party at Top Golf Suite on this was yesterday, but it was on Sunday night, and then they had the golf outing for his
Who was that
Jalen
guy
Rose.
in the middle?
That was Ha Davis,
Oh,
the comedian, little influencers. Ha
I
Davis.
was like, who's that Kevin Hart?
He's a comedian. He's just as funny as Kevin Hart.
Has he been on with us?
He has, and he's gonna come on again. He wants to
has
come
been
on
on.
the show. I gotta tell you how
There's
important.
no better name for a comedian than haha, by the way.
Absolutely.
You're already setting the tone. You set the tone. But I got to tell you guys about that picture right there. It was myself, it's Chris Webber, it's Jalen Rose, and it's Dwelle. Dwelle is a singer, Detroit-born, Detroit native. In fact, he was on Flashing Lights with Kanye. Won a Grammy for that song. But this is Detroit at its finest, man. And this is the first time that I had ever been in the same space and with Jalen Rose, Chris Webber, Jimmy King, ever since everything came out, ever since the parting of the friendship and parting of the ways. So just to see Chris back in the city, just to see Chris in his element, like I'm talking about Ryan. He wasn't Chris Webber, standoffish, quiet, off in the corner, didn't want to be somewhere, only was there for optics. Man, as Chris Webber was down, he was having a good time.
Good.
He was enjoying himself. He was cracking jokes. Like on that picture right there, that was like our fifth picture. He was like, damn, can we just smile and get it over with? And he did something goofy. But to see him in this space where he's home and he's authentic again, it was great to see him, man.
It's good to see, friends, and you can take you can take a little something out of that relationship. Maybe look inwards if there was ever a friend that maybe you lost touch with, if there was ever a falling out that you had with a friend that you grew up with. Maybe there is an opportunity for you to even reach out there, because these two were, these two were as in sync as you could have two people be. And I think all of us, specifically all of us Michigan fans, wanted to see these two come back together. And I did see an interview with the two of them, and it looks great. And it always felt like Jalen was the guy that was always trying to extend the olive branch, and it was Chris that was a little
hesitant.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's nice to see that they have patched it up, and you're out there for a great cause as well. Jalen's been doing that for a number of years now at the Leadership Academy. 14
years he's been doing it. He's been doing it right here in Detroit. Academy is on 8 Mile and Hubble. Just someone that shows you, man, he's from the city, born and raised. He came back to the city, always stayed true to the city. So it's good to see individuals like that stay the course, raise money, and do it for a great cause. The kids were there. One kid did a poem. Super dope, super insightful. So proud of my brother. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, before we get into some Lions talk, I do want to ask you, we had a discussion yesterday, Bray, about the Olympics. Where are you with the Olympics? Because I know you do like track and field. I mean, heck, your dad's been running a camp, speed camp for 33 years or 31 years, something like that. I mean, track.
Oh, that's right. You did the interview.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm like, hey, you dropping the knowledge.
Track is a part of the fabric of who you are. And I would assume that the summer games are important to you, but are you finding yourself watching it or no?
I can't get into a rhythm. I think it's too many sports, and I don't want to be disrespectful, because there are a lot of sports that other people's families, they need these options so that they can watch their children or their husbands or their wives, etc., with their sports, whether it's archery or something like that. With that being said, it's just too many options in terms of where sports are. Is it on Peacock? Is it streaming here? Is it on YouTube? You can find it on NBC on certain days in the week. I can't find that rhythm. And then it's weird times. Like whenever they're in a country where the times don't line up and their live is in an AM and vice versa, I think it always makes it tough. So just can't get that rhythm. I'm watching Simone Biles a little bit.
She's live right now going for the gold. But again, at 8 p.m. tonight, you're going to see it probably. And you're like, yeah, this is 5-6 hours old.
And that's the other thing, too. Maz, back in the day, 92, 96, 2000 even, 2004, maybe even when it was on replay, even if it was on tape delay, like you didn't see it. Like now with social media, now with clips, now with YouTube, now with updates, now with all the streaming sites, you see throughout the course of the day the routine or what happened, or you see the highlights from Team USA's game. So by the time they show it to you live, you don't want to watch it because you've seen enough highlights to know what happened. So like back in the day, you said, man, everything was on Channel 4.
Yep.
And they were going to tell
before
you,
that.
or 7 then 4.
Yeah.
They tell you what channel, what time, and you tune in. So it's a lot of moving around right now. So I can't find the rhythm.
No doubt. I don't ever remember the Olympics being on ABC.
Oh, don't
Really?
you remember Jim McKay and Howard Cosell?
God. Yeah. But I mean, I remember I wasn't alive then.
The
but I do
72 Munich
remember-
games.
Yeah.
You know, the murder.
Yeah, I wasn't alive back then,
Yeah.
but I do remember the clips and
Yeah.
Jim McKay and all that
11
stuff.
years.
That's where it started.
Yeah.
Olympics started then.
And it has started at Lions Camp. Let's transition, talk some football. Day 2 of training camp out in Allen Park when it comes to the guys wearing pads. One injury of note today, John Kaminsky carted off the field with an apparent right knee injury, and we don't know the extent of that injury, but it's funny because I was listening to the Dan Campbell press conference earlier today, and one of the things that he talked about was this balance between tackling, going full go, and not doing that.
Yeah.
And I think every coach in the NFL specifically, they have that kind of balance. And one of the things that Dan Campbell said, and Bray, you can appreciate this, and Maz, I know you're a big proponent of this too. You can train and you can practice for every aspect of football without any pads on. You cannot practice tackling until you practice tackling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a long way, it's a simplistic way to say you have to hit. The first time you practice tackling cannot be 70 snaps on Sunday. It just can't be that way. There is a balance. Every coach goes through it, but you have to hit. You have to go full go. And you know what? You let the chips fall where they may.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, the body gets used to a certain thing. You know, that's just how the body is. You know, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's if you touch something hot. Ryan, if you touch something hot the very first time, it'll shock the hell out of you, won't it? But then you tap it, the body gets adjusted to it. That's the same thing as tackling. Like when you're tackling in training camp, power neck, you can tell I'm telling the truth. When you're tackling, your body gets used to it. It gets used to the hitting, gets used to the banging, pause. And then it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. So when you get to the first preseason game and you're tackling the second preseason game and you're taking some time off, but you're still having to practice enough where you're thudding. You don't even have to necessarily tackle sometimes. Even a thud can still simulate that contact that you see on game day. When the season starts, your body's used to it because you've been putting your body in those situations every day or at least every other day. So your body's like, okay, cool, I know what's coming when I play these 70 snaps on September 9th. When you're not doing that, when you allow your body to chill, it's just like sitting on the couch and going back to the gym for the first time in 2 months. Your body, you're shocking your body. It's the atrophy there. It's the same thing with tackling. You got to hit. You don't need to hit every day, but you need to hit a good amount of days so that the body is used to it when the season starts.
He got rolled up on, Kaminsky, and it's an accident, right? And the guy that rolled up on him, I don't know who it is, but probably feels awful. But this is what we say. Injuries control your whole season. And the team that's healthiest at the end of the season in January is the team that's really going to challenge for the Super Bowl. If you're not healthy, man, you got no shot. And this is strike one. Hopefully the guy's okay. I know he's not a frontline starter all the time. I know they jettison guys in and out of the lineup, and
He's
they have
a good
depth
role
now,
player, though, man.
but he's a great role
Yeah.
player. And hopefully he's going to be okay. That's all I got to say.
He's one of Ryan's favorite players, mind you. Ryan was super excited when
Winning player.
100% he is. You talked about how excited he was to sign that contract. But just getting back to the Maz, you cannot control getting rolled up on. Injuries do happen. Accidents happen. But what you can control is being in shape. A lot of times, injuries in practice, they occur because guys are fatigued, because guys get lazy. Towards the end, once you get fatigued, you start letting your technique go a little bit. You start, not paying attention to staying aware. This is something that Dan Campbell could stay on in the meeting. Hey, guys, not good what happened to Kaminsky, but look, this is what we can do. Make sure you're locked into things at all times. Just because you think a play might be over, just be mindful. It's just like the same thing they tell you at driver's training. Be a defensive driver. Same thing with playing, man. Be a defensive guy. Hey, look, I got my hands in. I'm making sure I'm good. Boom, boom. Finish through the whistle. That's how you're sure you don't get hurt. But when you don't finish through that whistle, that's when you get the random roll-ups. That's when you get the random stuff on the sideline. And that's when you get injuries that don't have to happen.
I think it's unrealistic, too, to expect any NFL team, the Detroit Lions specifically, since we're talking about them, to go through an entirety of training camp and not have any injuries, not have any significant injuries. And again, we don't know what the status of John Kaminsky is, but if there's one thing we know, Dan Campbell is going to take care of his players. It goes back to the famous Hard Knocks scene when he's getting all emotional, he says, "All I think about is you guys."
Yep.
And that was in regards to some of the players kind of not wanting to hit on that particular day. Some of the players questioning whether or not they should be going full go, full pads, full tackling. And Dan Campbell said, "Hey, I did a lot of work on this. I did a lot of research on this and what needs to happen and what the good teams do and what the good players do. And you have to hit, even down to the part where, of course, Bray, as you say, the body gets used to taking those shots, because you cannot in any way, shape, or form just show up on Sunday and that's the first time that you hit a player. That's the first time you get hit, and that's the first time you deliver a hit. It can't be. Your body has to absorb that kind of shock, that kind of pounding, pause, for lack of a better word. But at the same time, you're going to have some injuries. And the intensity goes up, Dan Campbell said. Everybody's a little bit sharper. Everybody's paying attention a little bit closer. Everybody's getting off the ball a little bit quicker. Everybody's just doing what they have to do on each particular play, and that's how you build a team.
And at the same time, it's tough. It's a tough situation to ask this team, as competitive as they are, as hard as they've been putting in work in this offseason. You're talking about the last 3 years, 4 for some of these guys on this team. They're going into year 4. The work that they put in and how they built it by being aggressive. They built it by going after it. They've built it by trying to be the best. And so now you add more players to this team, more players that are going to help us get to where we want to be. You had defensive players who are now competitive, whether it's Amik Roberts, Carlton Davis II, Davenport. Now you got guys getting after it. Brian, it's tough to tell guys to tone it down a notch. It's going to be tough to tell these guys to tone it down a notch because they're working hard because they're trying to get to the Super Bowl. Amon-Ra St. Brown has already told us where the Detroit Lions' goal is. It's in the Super Bowl, and so is Dan Campbell. It's going to be tough to get those guys to tone it down. It's a good thing, but at the same time, you just got to pick and choose your spots. And I think Dan has done a good job so far as a head coach here. He's done a good job of picking and choosing his spots, tone it down versus turning it up.
And
there's injuries all over the NFL already. There's guys out for the year with
Roman
torn
Wilson
ACLs.
went out on the cart
Roman
today.
Wilson was carted off in Pittsburgh today. It happens, man. And let's just hope that Kaminsky's going to be okay. And if he's got to be out for a bit, there's other guys to pick him up.
No doubt. One of the guys, he's talking about that defensive line, though, one of the guys, and I wrote a note down this morning, too, just speaking about the defensive line. We talked yesterday, too, and we talked really quite a bit. You know where a player stands by the way in which Dan Campbell talks about them. Dan Campbell was asked about Broderick Martin today because, again, if Kaminsky – there's spots up and down this roster, right? I mean, and for Dan Campbell, one of the interesting things that he and Brad Holmes talk about is we're not a 53-man roster. Get kind of the 53-man roster out of your mind. We're a 69-person roster, because those practice squad guys are going to have to play at some point for us at some point along the way.
Of course.
Those guys are on the team. Those guys have to be a part of it. And
they increased the size of it last year.
Absolutely. And a guy that I think a lot of people are kind of intrigued with is Broderick Martin, the 4th-round pick from a year ago. And Broderick Martin, Dan Campbell was asked about him today. And again, I bring up Broderick Martin because Kaminsky goes out. It feels like there's a spot there. And he said, it's been up and down with Broderick Martin. He's working. The kid is working on it. He is working on it, and I love his progress.
That means he's far away.
But he's not where he wants to be yet. He's not this polished player. He's like every time he gets, something down, like for instance, he'll get his footwork down, then he forgets what to do with his upper body. Or he'll get the upper body down and he won't have the right footwork. Now it's just coming together. But again, it's a work in progress. And if you had any vision of Broderick Martin becoming that player that I think, a lot of us who look at talent and project, like you look at this body type, you look at this body size, you're like, that's a guy you could just stuff in the middle on the defensive line.
He's not that.
He's not that right now. He's not that, but he's working.
Yeah, and that's a good sign. Look, Dan Campbell's always going to shoot it straight. That's one of the things I love about him. And I say it all the time. He will shoot you straight from the hip. He will tell you what it is, and he's telling you. This guy's working hard. I think that's what you want to take most. The guy's working hard. The guy's working on things. It just tells you that he's also in his head. Sometimes you just need game time. Sometimes you just got to get out there and make these mistakes in full speed. I think you'll start to see him grow once preseason happens. But this is a good thing, too, why you have developmental projects, why you draft a guy last year and you get him ready for this year. You didn't need him last year. But you have a deep defensive line. I know that sounds crazy, considering we didn't have any defensive line players that we thought we could win with going into this offseason. But you look at Levi Onwuzurike. Josh Paschal actually plays behind John Kaminsky. What's Josh Paschal going to be this year?
Right.
Is this year 3? Is this the year that we find out why you were drafted number 2 overall? Because we're still trying to figure that out, although we've seen some glimpses, some flashes. Don't forget about Mekhi Wingo. Mekhi Wingo is a guy they drafted that fell late to him, a guy out of LSU that you know can play, had some talent, got excited. I was excited to see that pick. So you look at those things, they got a lot of guys, a lot of bodies to move and shuffle around. So even though Kaminsky goes down, this is why you have to be happy Brad Holmes made the moves he made on this defensive line, because you still have depth at that position.
Remember yesterday we talked about how Dan Campbell in the past has talked about Jamison Williams.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, he's coming along. Yeah, I think he's working over there. He's doing. That's basically what he said about Broderick Martin today. When you know when he's ecstatic about a player, he can't help himself. So Broderick Martin is probably a year away. Maybe he grows into it by the time this season's over. Maybe he gets some good plays. Maybe he helps out on the depth. But don't count on him yet. That's basically what Dan Campbell's saying.
That's exactly right.
Maz, I agree to it. I agree to a certain extent. When they were asking questions, Pete, let me ask you this question. You tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Sure.
When they were talking to Jamison Williams and Pete, Dan Campbell would talk about him, it just seems like somebody that was not paying attention, that was immature, that was a little so far away. Like, not only did he not have the game, but he wasn't mature enough. Like, when you talked about him, he just almost had to scratch his head. Broderick Martin, it sounds like he appreciates the work.
That's true, actually.
It sounds different, right, Pete?
Yeah, well, that's a key. Well, doesn't that go to coaching?
It does.
I mean, if Dan Campbell's that good of an influence on him, then that's going to make him up. I think Broderick Martin will work out as long as Dan Campbell stays on him and continues to coach him. That's what you got to do.
100%, Bray. I'm glad you made that clarification, because I do agree with Maz that if you were hoping for the production on the field, you might not get that this year. He might not be that player you hope he will be this year. Maybe he is next year. But Dan Campbell does appreciate the work and says this guy's doing everything he can. You did mention that Dan Campbell's going to shoot you straight a minute ago. And this next soundbite from Dan Campbell earlier today talking about Taylor Decker is exactly what that was. Taylor Decker actually talked to Dan Campbell about the contract. The head coach and the player. Is that unusual? Here's what Dan Campbell had to say about that.
Taylor said you guys talked man-to-man at OTAs about the contract. I don't know how many times that's happened in your career, but is it a unique situation, and how special is that the trust is there between the two of you?
No, it's not. Look, I've told those guys from day one, man, if something like that is bothering you, sir, you can always, as you know, Brad and myself, you come talk to us. And we will tell you what our mindset is, where we're at, what we're thinking. We're not going to shy away from that. So we've told everybody that. And so, Decker came up in the spring and we talked about it. You know, that was on his mind. And so I told him, listen, Brad and I, you're next. And this will come. Just let's give it a minute here. He's coming off of surgery. Let's just make sure you're good. We'll get you out there moving around in July, and all's good, and we'll go. And that's what happened. So I appreciate him trusting us, you know, but all our guys know that, man. You got something on your mind, come up and talk. We can talk one-on-one, and I'll give you the straight up. Man, I remember what it was like as a player, and I was lied to at one point, and I will never do that to a player. So even if it's going to hurt a little bit, I want him to know the truth.
I got goosebumps just saying that right now, just hearing that right now, because you talk about culture.
Yeah.
The word culture is thrown around like crazy in sports, in regular office speak. That is culture. When a player can have an issue on his mind, go up to the boss essentially and say, hey, this is really bothering me. What do you make of this? What should I make of this? And that boss shoots you straight. That boss tells you exactly what's on his mind. And I think Bray is a former player, and Dan Campbell admitted to it. He said, I was a player. I was lied to. I will never do that to one of my players.
He just sounds like a team rep, man. He sounds like an extension of a team rep. We pick team reps as guys we trust, guys we know we can get the most of, and guys that will shoot us straight when getting information from the NFL, from the league, from the front office. That's what Dan Campbell still sounds like. He was a team rep somewhere, whether he was the Lions or the Giants. He was a team rep. But to your point, it's the honesty. Like, you know how that's all players ask for. I mean, that's all most people ask for. But as a player, that's all you want. You want to be able to trust your coach. You want to be able to trust the GM, which never happens. You want to be able to go to the coach, tell coach a thing, and then coach come right back to you and say, hey, look, this is what it is. Like, this is what, regardless of what the situation is. If the situation was not, Taylor, you know what? That's not a move that we're looking to do right now. You know, maybe possibly down the line, blah, blah, blah. Even if that were the answer, even if that was what it was, Taylor would have appreciated. He would have understood that he's dealing with a grown man and somebody that's going to tell them. And that goes down the list. It goes down the line because now Taylor's telling the guys on the team what that conversation was, how that conversation came about, and look at what happened at the end. I just wish all coaches could be like Dan Campbell. It's just it seems like it's very easy to do.
Right.
Doesn't it just seem
You have to be confident in what you're doing.
True.
You have to have so much conviction in what you're doing, and you gotta want to be. You gotta want to do the right thing by the players, not do the right thing to
Right.
CYA. But just your self-preservation. I feel like Dan Campbell has such a plan, Maz, and is so comfortable with who he is and who he's working with, by the way.
That's the other thing. You got to be in sync. Like, it has to be. If those two guys weren't in sync,
Yes.
if Brad Holmes, Sheila Hamp included, and Dan Campbell weren't on the same page, Dan Campbell can't have that conversation because he doesn't know what Brad Holmes is thinking or what Brad Holmes will say about it. Brad Holmes can't have that conversation until he talks to Sheila Hamp. They have each other's trust, so they can have those type of conversations.
And when Decker went up to Campbell was honest with him. He said, listen, all right, let's see how you're working out. You just came back from an operation. Let's see how you're doing on the field. So he told him.
Yeah.
That's basically what NFL teams do. It's what can you do for my team? And once they're done with you, they're done with you.
Yep.
But Dan Campbell's like, let's see what you got. Taylor Decker worked his ass off, and he got back on the field, and he got paid.
You see how easy the difference in that, in the same conversation, you know what a non-Dan Campbell coach would do, which is 80% of this league, because I'm going to give 20% a chance because it's a different league. Do you know how that conversation looks? Hey, Maz, you know what? I want to talk. Excuse me, Coach Maz. I want to talk to you about my year. I think I'm getting to the end. You know, I want to make sure I'm taken care of because I know I don't have too many more days, blah, 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 blah. I had an injury. You know what they used to like? Oh, no, well, you know, we'll just get the doctors, keep taking care of it. We'll get you covered. We'll get you taken care of. You just trust us. We'll get it taken care of for you. You just relax. You just keep putting in that work. You put that work in, you know, we're going to make it right with you. They give you some BS. You believe it. You do the work. And then at the end of the day, there's no pot of gold. In fact, they tell you to go home.
Yep.
Like, instead, it took Dan Campbell 2 seconds to say, hey, look, we want to get you taken care of, but first we want to make sure your leg is okay. We want to make sure you're good to go, and we want to make sure the same Taylor Decker that's been an All-Pro for us. You see how easy that was? Now I'm Taylor Decker. Cool. You know what? I got to put the work in. I got to show them I'm good to go. It's that easy.
This team has everything it needs to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Period.
All they got to do is play up to their abilities, and no one's going to beat them. Because they are such a team.
You're going to hear from Taylor Decker. You'll hear from him next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. That's exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC. Same great service that customers have come to know and trust. Located in Ferndale on Woodward Avenue, just south of 9 Mile. And if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford in Dearborn, where they have been on Michigan Avenue for over 55 years. You can find the brand you want under one umbrella. All 4 GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com, LesStanford.com.
Together, let's drive.
Woof, woof. That's right. Premier Pet Supply time. Hands down, Michigan's best pet store. Family-owned and operated for over 30 years. 13 Metro Detroit locations and over 60 brands of food. Always stocked to the hilt. They're never out of anything you need. Nutrition is on call as well, and curbside delivery too. Give your pet the best. Don't settle for less. It is PremierPetSupply.com.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions. and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men, it's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey. Right now, more than ever, it is critical for you to have your insurance reviewed, and Swiss Insurance will make sure that your carrier is not slipping in those extra fees. Call Mark at Swiss Insurance today, 313-530-1698, or visit SwissINS.com.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through the 25th at Warwick Hills. Leave the golf to the pros and don't miss the party at 7. $2 Birdie beers, concerts, and more. Get your tickets at allychallenge.com. Brought to you by Randy Wise Automated. Gotta check it out. And what you should do is drive on over to Planet Fitness. Get yourself a membership with over 50 locations in Metro Detroit. There's gyms for you all over the place, and they are the #1 gym. And also, you got to remember they have a fitness that fits into your budget. And the best thing, I never talk about this, but one of the best things is, did you know that all Planet Fitness memberships include fitness training for no extra cost? Trainers are expensive. Trust me, I know. Get yourself a Planet Fitness membership because your fitness is essential.
I think it speaks to a good culture that's been built, and it's not built on sand. It's genuine. It's real. You bring certain guys in because of what they can add, not just as players, but as people. And like I said, it's a genuine thing that the staff is looking for, and it's not, oh, we're just going to bring this guy in and then get rid of him and try to find something cheaper. I just think it speaks to the culture. We can find guys that fit. We can find guys that represent what we're about. Not only are they phenomenal players, but they represent us. They represent the city. And to be able to keep a core group of guys around, I feel like more and more in the NFL, you have guys coming in and out, and it's hard to develop kind of some cohesiveness. And especially us on the offensive line, we got to play together for a long time now, and that's valuable. I mean, that's big time.
And that was Taylor Decker, talking about obviously the Lions culture and what they've built here in Detroit, in Allen Park. And Braylon, players talk too, and I think nobody has to talk to Taylor Decker. I mean, he's lived it. He's lived these two different organizations from the time he got here till where they are right now. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And when you find a place like this, a structure like this, I can't imagine anyone wants to ever leave it. Even just think about yourself. I mean, you never wanted to leave New York when it was what it was back in 09 and 10 and 11.
When you have a team where the coaches are A1, with front office is A1, with the fan base is A1, where the owner is available, is visible, where the food in the cafeteria get high marks when they make the team ranks every year. Every category gets filled with A's in that market each year. This is now the Detroit Lions reality. This is who they were, and guys do talk, and they're winning games, and they're competing for a Super Bowl. So, like, these guys talk about this. Like, guys don't want to go anywhere. Like, guys take less. Brock Wright took less to stay at Detroit Lions than go play with the 49ers, a team that beat the Lions last year, because he wanted to be here because he did things the right way. When that happens, you talk to players in the offseason, Ryan, whether you play ball with them in college or whether you hang out in the same offseason spot. You know, what's it like in your spot? I mean, the coach is an a-hole, but, you know, we got money, you know, we win, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So this place, the coach is a butthole. Granted, I don't want to play for this guy. Ask other guys, what's it like? Man, facilities, top of the line. The owner, super cool, super, like, the players, the identity, the culture, it's dialed in. Check mark. This is a team that I want to play for. So when you have all these boxes checked like the Lions do, guys talk, and that's why you'll see guys want to get to Detroit in free agency at the end of the trade deadline if they can. Because teams and players do control where they go sometimes. So guys want to play in Detroit. Like, that's what it takes. They do everything the right way, at least it seems, on the outside looking in.
If you had a choice right now as a player, and the Lions and Giants were offering you the same money. Well, the Giants are offering you more.
Yeah.
Giants are going to give you $2 million more a year to go play for them. And you just finished Hard Knocks watching Joe Shane and his band of merry men perform the way they do. Where are you going? This is the place now. This used to be the place that people laughed at and people didn't want to go to. This used to be that place. Nobody wanted to do it. You heard Amon-Ra St. Brown on receiver. He said he looked at his phone on draft night. He says, oh, my God, 313's calling? I don't even want to pick that damn phone up. I don't want to go there. They're a bunch of clowns.
Yo, go ahead.
But guess what? That's changed, man.
Bray, we talked about this yesterday, and I wish you were here to comment on it, so I'm going to ask you about this. In receiver, Amon-Ra, I didn't know he had it in him, but he was like 2 freaking targets. He was like
losing it.
He was losing it because he wanted the football, and we never saw him as the quote-unquote
me guy,
diva, me guy.
But you know what I found out?
He had it in him.
That was from his rookie year.
Oh, really?
Yep. That's what I found out.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
But still.
Either way, yeah, still, right?
No, yeah. I mean, you said, did I think he had it in him? I didn't. But that's why they think he had his attitude. And a lot of times it's not a selfish attitude. It's not a me attitude. It's just what you can't see.
Yeah.
Like, if you, the viewer, aren't watching the game, or you're not watching my position, because I only got 2 targets, clearly you're not watching me.
Unless you got the all-22, you're not seeing you.
Exactly. You're watching the running back, the offensive line, the other wide receiver, the other person you're getting the ball to. You can't see the fact that I am cooking this DB. You can't see the fact that every time I run around, Ryan, on this left side on this DB, I'm wide open. Or I'm finding the zone and cover 2. Like, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be on every single time, but either the quarterback is sacked or he's not coming my way. Yes, you'll get pissed. If you're doing your job to the highest of its ability and you can't get seen and you can't help the team, and it's not a sense of, you get upset because you're not balling or you're not out there with 8 catches or you're not out there with the yards for somebody's fantasy team. I don't care about the fantasy team. It's the fact that I know I'm open. It's the fact that I know if I'm looked at, I can help the team out. Because if it's 3rd and 10, I'm wide open, 12 yards over the ball, that's a first down. It gives us 3 more cracks at another first down. So I think that's a lot of time when players are feeling like that. It's because you can help the team. I think you get pissed.
We were also talking about you and your wide receivers. And we kind of said, you wide receiver guys are, we'll just say, you guys have got a little diva in you. You guys want the ball. And if you don't get the ball, you piss. You see Devontae Adams in receiver. The poor bastard is trying to get open every play. He is out there hustling, and he ain't getting the ball because he's got no one to throw it to him, or they decide to throw a screen to some other idiot. But you're not using Devontae Adams. So I get what you guys are going through. Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams, so on and so forth. You guys are hustling off the line 90% of the time. A lot of times you see the receiver, he's just going to move in motion. He's not getting the ball. It's a handoff. But other than that, the receiver is running his route at full speed, and he gets nothing for it. How much percent of the time? Maybe 75% of the time you're not getting the ball.
I feel like, too, if you're a receiver and you know that you can help the team, you're not getting the ball and you're losing. That's when a lot of the problems come in, because you're like, okay, maybe we're losing because you can't get me the ball.
It's funny you said. And so in 2009 with the Jets, this is when I first get to the Jets. I got traded, blah, blah, blah. I'm there. I'm playing. We didn't ever pass the ball. Like, I love that season because we made the AFC Championship.
Curtis Martin?
I'm not that old. But Thomas Jones.
TJ, that's right.
TJ, and it was Sean Green's rookie year.
Yeah.
So you got Sean Green, Thomas
I'm a little
Jones.
bit older than you, remember?
Just a little bit. Just a smidge.
Just a couple years.
I can go to John Riggins.
Hell no.
He was in the 70s and with a mohawk.
He's
with
older
the
than my
Jets.
dad. But just looking back at it, and we didn't do a lot of passing. I think I had like 600 yards when I got traded to the Jets, maybe 3 or 4 touchdowns. But we were winning. We led the league in rushing. I didn't mind blocking. You point them out, I knock them down. We're winning. I didn't care that I had 1 target, 2 targets. You're winning. But when I was in Cleveland and we're not winning and all you're doing is trying to run the ball, meanwhile, I had 16 touchdowns the year before, I'm like,
right.
That's when you see that attitude come out, because not only are you not getting me the ball, we're not losing. Whatever you're doing is not working, which means I'm right. Which also could be wrong, but
honestly, and just to help you out too, at the wide receiver position, what is the 2 positions on the field really that you're in space? You're not really bunched up. It is wide receiver and it is DB, and you are on that field more often than not. And it's just you and another guy, or just you out there.
And everyone can see every aspect of you. They can see if you loafed off the ball. They can see if you got beat up at the line and you didn't get like, you can see everything. You can see if you drop a pass or if you messed up. Offensive lineman, you can't tell if
every other position is so bunched up in the middle of that field. But those wideouts on the outside, those DBs that are opposing them, you're on an island by yourself, essentially. Yeah. With one other person, so you see every reaction, every expression, everything.
There's also the positions like you can just tell, hey, you gotta stay over there for 4, 5, 6 plays. Well, back when I played, now they're throwing the ball 50 times a game, but back when I played, they say, you gotta stay over there 2, 3, 4, 5 plays. We'll call you when we need you. Oh, it's 3rd and 12. Hey, Braylon, this is what we want you to do. We want to run a Z out, skinny post. Oh, now you need me. It's the only position where it's like, we'll call you when we need you, other than kicker.
Hey, at Detroit Supremacy on the chat says that St. Brown meltdown was against the Saints this past season. So I must have read the New York Porch or something when it said it was his rookie season. So I'll go back and look at that video. I want to go back and look at it again. I thought it was a home game.
I thought it was against the Saints, too.
I thought it was a home game. Didn't we play the Saints at the Superdome?
No, at the Superdome, yeah.
I thought it was a home game.
No, it was not a home game.
So maybe.
That much I definitely remember. It was a road game.
Well, then it probably was a Saint game.
Mentioned DBs a minute ago, and I think one of the biggest question marks to figure out this this training camp is what's the rotation going to be on the back end of the Lions defense at DB, and where do the rookie cornerbacks fit in? Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Here's what Dan Campbell had to say about these rookie cornerbacks in their growth so far this offseason.
The first day of work for both of them. What I love? That both of those guys are competitive. They are competitive guys, man. They don't mess around for rookies, and they're trying to win the rep, and they're trying to get better, and they're both athletic, and so you feel like, okay, there again, first day, it's not too big for them. They were ready for the challenge of it. Now, do they have a lot of work? Yeah, they do, but so it was very encouraging.
And I think when you're talking about rookies, first round pick, second round pick, whatever the case may be, Bray, when you're talking about rookies that don't miss a beat, that come in prepared, ready to go, ready to compete for a spot, I'm not sure there's anything more you can ask than to have a rookie be ready to go day one and compete for a starting spot.
Yeah, it goes back to Brad Holmes. Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell, they did the vetting process with these two young guys, Ennis Rakestraw, Terry and Arnold. They did the vetting process. They interviewed them. They saw what type of guys they were. They watched film on them. Ryan, they watched film on them to see that these were the right guys for the job, and they were. But you know what they had to bring those guys into for it to work? For these guys to be able to jump in, for these guys to be able to be ready to rock and roll, just like they had already been here. It goes back to what you talked about with identity. When you got an identity, you got the culture. Guys are working hard. Guys are showing what they're. Guys are watching the film. Guys are watching the tapes. Guys are looking at the NFC Championship over and over and over again and thinking about that, trying to get back to that moment. Those guys just jump right into that culture. Those guys are following on how to do things the right way, how to study for film. And oh, by the way, you bring in some veterans. You bring in a Carlton Davis II, who we expect to be DB1, who really can help Terry and Arnold, as well as Amik Roberts, who's going to bring that attitude. You bring in Emmanuel Mosley. Again, there's a reason why they keep bringing this guy back. There is a reason why Emmanuel Mosley keeps getting brought back by Brad Holmes. They see something in him, and I guarantee you it's a part of the culture. It's a part of the identity. So when you do that kind of homework on a player, and then you bring that homework into this type of environment, or that player into this type of environment, match made in heaven.
Let me ask you this, Bray. Going back to all the years you've played football and looking at the NFL, how many rookie corners came out of college, first-round pick, second-round pick, and really made an impact? You think you can name a couple?
Darrell Reeves, I played him his rookie year. We drafted a guy named Eric Wright when I was in Cleveland.
Sauce.
He had a really one. Sauce.
Yeah.
Last year.
And I
got to go way back.
And even in Houston, the kid,
Stingley Jr.
Yeah, Stingley Jr.
His second year.
Yeah, his second year, which was really his first year.
Right.
Really, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
the Notre Dame kid that's the Ravens.
Kyle
I know
Hamilton.
he's a safety, but
right.
Still,
it's starting to happen fast. Brian Branch came in tremendous. It's starting to happen too. One, it's because of the skill sets that these guys have coming out of high school. Guys' skill sets going up and up, and then out of college, they're ready for the NFL. They're ready to compete at the next level. But it also goes to where these guys are coming from, what schools they are, with the exception of maybe Reeves coming out of Pittsburgh. Everybody's recruiting out of these same circles when it relates to the wide receiver and DB. They're going to LSU. They're going to Georgia. They're going to Alabama. They're going to Ohio State. They're going to Michigan. They're going to Texas. They're going to these schools. And you get a guy from these same programs, you're probably going to get the same result.
Right.
Probably going to get guys that can play at the next level. Yeah.
And didn't Kansas City have a couple of guys on the back end?
Yeah, they had the guy that I wanted to sign.
Right.
I wanted to sign here. I'm trying to remember his name, but
I think he went to Tennessee or something. I forget his name too. It just goes to show you how we can put people in the rearview mirror all you want, right? But hey, and that goes back to Kansas City thinking it was either Chris Jones on the defensive line or it was. And his name escapes me right now. I apologize. It'll come to me.
L'Jarius Sneed.
Mm-hmm. Who are you going to sign? And that you take the defensive lineman all day and twice on Sundays.
I guess so.
Well, especially because
because we talked about the flags that get
That's exactly
thrown.
Right.
Yeah. I want to bring this to Braylon. These flags, Bray.
Well, why would you spend $80 million on a defensive back when it comes down to it, I'd like to see the statistics on it. 3rd and 17, illegal hands to the face.
5 yards.
First down. Pass interference, PI, right there. I mean, the way the game is officiated, and even why would you spend all this money for a huge, big-time defensive back when some zebra is just going to throw a flag because he put 2 fingers on him down the field?
Yeah.
And you're screwed.
Yeah, the game comes in ebbs and flows, and one of the ebbs we're in right now is defensive backs. They just don't get paid. Like when I was playing, like Champ Bailey had a huge deal. Charles Woodson signed a major deal. Darrell Reeves signed a couple of big deals.
It felt different back then, though.
The game felt different back then. They let them use their hands a lot more. They let them be physical at the line of scrimmage. They turned their backs to the plays. They just let 2 guys go at it and just play the game. That's not what the case is no more. As it goes more offensive, as they're trying to score more points, trying to keep more butts in the seats, trying to let those numbers get gaudy by the quarterbacks and the wide receivers, it's just going to go further and further down. And the offensive side of the ball is going to go further and further up. You can't change it because they're trying to help the game in the space of the offense. The game is for the offensive side of the ball, so those are the guys that are going to get paid more money.
What's your take on? I brought this up to Ryan yesterday. illegal hands to the face is 5 yards, but they give you an automatic first. If you block a guy past 5 yards, if you just touch him, that's 5 yards and a first down as well. Those fouls should not carry a first down with them. I believe teams get away with murder. Like you said, right? It's 3rd and 19. Just go out for a little 8-yard pass. See if you can get a penalty on the guy. Yeah, draw a flag, and it's a first down. When it's a minor penalty, it's a 5-yard penalty. No 5-yard penalty should cause a first down. Offsides doesn't give you an automatic first down. You got to earn it.
3rd and 7, 5-yard penalty on the offsides. It's 3rd and 2. It's not an automatic first down.
I just think they should relook at this, the way they do this. They got to give the defense a little bit of a break.
Blocking down the field, maybe. You can still say second down, or it doesn't change. It doesn't give you an automatic first down. I would understand that one. But hands to the face mask, I think it's more of a protector. You got a face mask. This is true, but man, those face masks don't stop fingers from getting in the eyes. So you're trying to deter players from touching that face mask for whatever reason. It's an accident 85% of the time, but with the majority, but you touch somebody's eye, you get somebody, you poke somebody's eye out, somebody can't play, somebody's career is over, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The more you can help that rule, and that's by what the penalty is. You help the rule, guys tend to focus more on not touching that face mask. So the first one, I agree. Past 5 yards blocking down the field, who cares? You shouldn't get an automatic first one on that one.
Yeah.
The hands to the face one, that's a sensitive, because I've seen some guys get the eyes poked out. I've seen. Remember, Zeus got hit with the.
Of course. Well, he got hit with the bag.
True.
Jeff Triplett.
The beanbag, and that's why they changed the rule. But I think that's a scarier place.
Back to the DBs for the Lions momentarily. Jameson Williams, who is by far, it feels like he's having the camp of his life.
Sheesh.
He went out of his way to talk about his former Alabama teammate, Terrion Arnold.
Oh, it's good. We go at it every day. One-on-ones, team, 7-on-7. We going at it all day. Just trying to make each other better, though. Just how we did in school. It was just the same thing. We was always going against each other. He'll call me out. I'm right there. I ain't ducking. I'm right there. That's how we do it, though. Just get each other better.
Were you guys close to Bama?
Yeah, that was my little brother. Always. Ever since the first day I got there, he was always right there with me. Everything, we always do it together. Everything. That's my little brother.
You still calling your little brother?
Nah, he grown now.
I feel like I'm listening to a kid in the street. Kid on my block.
He's a kid.
I know.
And he's just having a time of his life
I love
now.
it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. Before I get into the iron sharpens iron from the Roll Tide guys, Brian, let me ask you a question. Man, ask you too. What becomes of Jameson Williams if he goes to the Carolina Panthers when he's drafted? Under the same circumstances of how it's played out. What happens if Jameson Williams goes to insert team here? That's not the Detroit Lions or the Kansas City Chiefs in terms of got injured, was immature, didn't know how to handle that, came back at the end of the year, didn't necessarily feel part of the team. Then he gets into the gambling situation. Now he gets suspended. What happens if he's with a team that can't handle that? A team that didn't stay vigilant, like a team that didn't have big brothers or role models on that team, or like leaders to follow, like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He won't be having the camp of his life, huh?
He becomes like a Trey Lance.
100%.
You know what I mean? I know it's just the first name that popped to mind. You know what I mean? He becomes like a Trey Lance. You're an insert wide receiver here, and I know Trey Lance is a quarterback, but again, it's situations. He becomes probably one of the 80% of players that fizzle out in the league because of where they go.
Yep.
And maybe that number is even a little light.
Yeah.
80% of the players that get selected to the NFL draft, and again, that might be a little light.
And it just shows.
Don't stay with the team that they're drafted to, Bray, because the situations don't fit.
And that's all I was saying, Matt. Look how close it was to going one way, but instead it's going to go another way. Mm-hmm. And that's the Lions locker room, and that's the Lions culture. But you get back to him and Terrion Arnold. Like, that's dope. Like, Terrion Arnold has somebody that we can go to. Like, it's often than not times when you get drafted to this NFL, you don't necessarily have that person that can hold you accountable, that you trust already, that you know isn't coming from a veteran on the team space versus a guy, a brother, somebody that has my best interest at heart. J-Mo's not going to tell him any lies. Like, J-Mo's going to be up for him. Whatever he's going through, he'll be able to give him a great sounding board. And don't forget, Jahmyr Gibbs is also an Alabama Crimson Tide. So he's got two guys, and Brian Branch, He's got enough guys.
They have their own fraternity.
They got enough guys on his team. Those 5, they better be bringing it every game and
Absolutely.
every year. That's a little fraternity, and they're winners. So
I think so too.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of the, Mez, you mentioned this yesterday. If the Lions defense, and last year they were great against the run, by the way.
Yep.
Last year the Lions, I mean, how many times did we do the Fox 2 pregame show,
that's what
Bray?
we were talking about.
Every single week. Lions #1 against the rush, #1 against the rush, #1 against the rush. But look what they're doing against the pass.
But you add DJ Reader to that as well now.
Exactly.
Look
So,
out.
but if you could somehow just get into the top 18 against the pass, not even top half, top 18 against the pass, you have the ability to do something really special this season.
I'm glad they shored their team up. I'm glad they added some defensive line play, and I'm glad they added some cornerback play, some great depth at those positions. Because I believe that the run per se, you got your hand up, Power Neck? Okay, my bad. I believe that runs per game, run yards per game stat mass is a little skewed. And the reason why I think that stat is skewed, Ryan, is because the Lions were the best offense in the NFL last year, statistically wise. Which means what? Most teams are doing what?
They're behind.
Playing from behind. So they're not running the ball a lot. So I think a lot of that is fake. It's fake believe. I think this year it won't be fake believe. I think you've added the right pieces. Cincinnati won. So what?
Fake news?
Fake news for sure.
News.
It's fake news for sure. But I think this year you've added the right pieces, but you've also shored out on the outside. You got some young talent from Arnold and Anders Rakestraw. And I believe in Carlton Davis II. Like I saw what he was able to do this season at the end. Remember we had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat writer on right before they played the Bucs?
Of course.
He was really good, by the way. He talked about Carlton Davis and what he was and how he's been a leader in that secondary. I remember that conversation then. So I think it's going to help them on both sides of the ball. And I think the numbers this year, Ryan, they won't lie at all.
Right.
Did they sign him yet? Did they give him an extra contract, an extension? Carlton Davis?
I don't believe so. I don't know, though.
I think he's due one, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know that answer. You know, that's the story of this organization, though. Prove it deals.
Yeah.
Right? You're on a prove it deal until.
Look at Manuel Mosley.
Exactly. So, yeah. So lots to talk about when it comes to the Lions. We'll go around the NFL, but I do want to take a minute now, talk a little baseball. Top of hour number 2. We'll do that next. But first, a message from KDK. That's right. Get ready. You might not need this number now, but you might need it in the future. You just never know what's going on out there. Dealing with divorce, child custody visitation, or other family law issues, Kevin and Catherine at KDK Law in Birmingham will have your back. 10-plus years of experience, 24/7 availability. Scan the QR code on your screen right now or call 248-971-0476, 248-971-0476. Say Woodward Sports sent you KDK. Going to pay your filing fee. KDK Law, they've got your back.
And speaking of the law, when you see that black and yellow sign out there, criminals, it tells you one thing.
Stay out.
That's right. Let Guardian Alarm offer you customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. These people have been proven to care, and this technology has been proven to work. So call 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Braylon Edwards here, Premier Pet Supply. Man, just looking around, who's got it better than pets? Come on, a baby stroller for Coda? A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supplies has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media. And we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
Any Lady Jane's haircuts for men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. It's wicked awesome.
You smell that? That's Brad Holmes cooking. And the off-season smells good. Woodward Sports.
1 hour down, man. Jeez. Oh, my goodness. I thought you said Mark White. I
said Lady Jane's and Mark White.
Oh, sorry. I will tell you, I cannot believe how fast these shows are going, by the way. Like
That's
1
good.
hour down. I mean, with
It's
football
football season, man.
Like
So-
football season
It
is
is.
insane.
You know what else is insane?
It's like I can't believe how great it is. We got a game on
It's
Thursday
back,
night.
baby!
Oh my God! Let me tell you about Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Awesome is where a guy can be a guy. You can get an amazing haircut. That's Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Stop in, sit back, relax. Let one of Lady Jane's talented stylists make you look and feel great. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in anytime, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's. It's wicked awesome.
All right, fellas, dreaming of a new home but feeling the financial pinch? Mark White & Associates, they have your back. The real estate experts are here to help you. Mark White & Associates and his team will pay up to $5,000 of your closing costs. That's over $5,000, guys. Call Mark White & Associates today, 248-290-8242. Visit them online, markwhitesells.com. Call Mark White today, 248-290-8242 to make your dreams come true.
All right, baseball trade deadline, 6 p.m. tonight. If you are watching live, if you're watching on delay, probably the trade deadline has come and gone now. Tom, I'm going to come to you first because you're really the...
I'm sick.
You're really the guy about all this stuff.
I'm sick.
You're sick.
Well, first of all, the Tigers have called a 7 o'clock press conference for tonight.
So they're done.
With Scott Harris.
That means they're done.
That means either way. If something happens in the next 50-some-odd minutes, we'll talk about that. If not, we'll talk about that. Mark Canha was scratched today, so that means Flaherty and Canha basically are up for trade. That's what that means. So to me, I think the Yankees should be knocking on the door for those two guys. And Gleyber Torres has wore out his welcome in New York.
Why?
You can have him.
Why? Like, he's such a good player.
He's struggling this year. He's struggling on defense. He wants to only play second base. So if he wants to play second base, maybe Colt Keith can move over and play short. I don't know, but I think there's a spot for him. But nonetheless, a lot of teams are making deals. And from what I understand, John Morosi, let's play. John Morosi, JP Morosi on MLB Network a few hours ago had this to say about the Tigers, and it's still relevant.
Flaherty was scratched from his start, JP, and I thought, a trade imminent. Then he wasn't traded. I can't figure out which Tiger starter is going to be traded, if at all, if both of them, him and Skubal. What do you know?
Yes, Lauren, I think the Tigers right now are one of the most intriguing sellers in the entire industry today as we begin deadline day. You're right. Jack Flaherty, when he was scratched last night, I thought in the moment, okay, he's probably going to Houston. Instead, the Astros get Yusei Kikuchi for a significant haul. The Blue Jays did very well with that Kikuchi trade, which tells me that perhaps the Tigers could have had a similar package for Flaherty, or the Tigers have their sights set elsewhere on where they could move Flaherty. The best case scenario, if you were looking at the Tigers and saying you want to do the most with your pitching right now, it would be sending Flaherty to a team like the Dodgers or potentially the Yankees, and then obviously the Skubal Baltimore partnership that we've been talking about for weeks now. That is probably the best remaining fit if they're going to go down the lane of a blockbuster franchise-changing move with Tarek Skubal. I said yesterday it's still a toss-up as to whether or not this trade happens. This morning, I feel quite the same way, because as you look at the dynamics of the market, there's been a lot of spin out there about who's actually going to get moved and who's available. There's been no trade yet that has blocked out the possibility of Skubal becoming an Oriole. And until that happens, I'm going to say it's still a toss-up. You think about all the prospects the Orioles have, they can't all play at the major leagues right now. They've got a new owner and a mandate to win the World Series. Tarek Skubal can help them do that.
Wow, they can get anyone with their prospects. The Tigers have a bright future as well.
There you have it. John Morosi tells you the Tigers had opportunities to move this guy. Houston wanted Flaherty. Instead, they knock on Miami's door and they get a haul. So here you go now. Today, Baltimore knocks on Miami's door. They get a pitcher, just a pitcher. He's like a third or fourth starter. And they get a haul again. So the Tigers are either overpricing their people or they have something else in mind, because you haven't heard the Dodgers yet and you haven't really heard the Yankees as far as arms go. They got Jazz Chisholm, who hit 2 home runs last night,
right,
along with Aaron Judge. So that's helping the Yankees, but they need arms, man. They need arms. So right now, as the Tigers sit, less than 3 hours to go, they're running out of options. Baltimore trades for a cheap arm. That's 2 cheap arms Baltimore got, but they didn't get their ace. They did not get their ace, but it's getting bleaker by the minute if you're a Tiger fan and you want this deal to be made.
Let me ask you a question, Maz. The fact, let's say we get to 7 o'clock and nothing happens. Nothing happens on the Dodgers front, nothing happens on the Yankees front. Does that let you know that Chris Illich is ready to put some money behind Tarek Skubal and his team? Does that give you the inclination that he believes in Flaherty, he believes in Skubal in the long term, which means he believes he's going to have to put some money around Tarek Skubal? Is that something you'd be excited that he does, or you just think they missed the boat, they dropped the ball?
The first thought I would have before he speaks tonight at 7 o'clock, and I'm talking Scott Harris, I would think that they overpriced themselves out, or Houston wanted Chafin thrown in on the deal, or someone that the Tigers didn't want to part with. I have a hard time believing that the Tigers will pay both Flaherty and Skubal money. Now, they can let Flaherty go, re-sign him as a free agent. He's not going to garner $200 million. He's going to get something pretty good. He's a damn good pitcher. But Skubal's looking at $400 million. And the Tigers have these guys coming up. They got Dylan Dingler that's up, got an RBI double last night. He's a catcher. Yeah. So if he catches on, that's great. That's one spot. That still leaves 3 spots at least open. Do you believe enough in the Tigers minor leagues that these guys are going to hit?
Didn't we already do that with Parker Meadows and Spencer Torkelson?
I don't want to believe. I'm done believing. I can't wait. I don't know if Torkelson is going to come back. He got 2 home runs, 7 RBI for Toledo, but he's still hitting 250 against minor league pitching. I don't trust what we have in reserve. That's why I want to empty it right now and get the Baltimore's guys. But it don't look like the Orioles want to trade them.
As it stands right now, and I reserve the right to change my opinion on this if a trade is made. But let's just say with 2 hours and 50 minutes to go that what it is what it is. Yeah. Canna staying, Flaherty staying, Skubal staying. I think that would lead me to believe that Scott Harris is completely in over his skis. That's what that would lead me to believe. Because if you take this trade deadline and you couple it with the offseason in which, and I'm sorry to keep repeating myself, but they were out there. They were reasonably priced, and they didn't sign until deep into the training camp. It was J.D. Martinez and Matt Chapman. And if they didn't, what do those guys make? A couple of $1 million?
Yeah, nothing major.
It was nothing major. And if you can't sign those guys, and then you can't trade Jack Flaherty Like, forget about Skubal for a second. And Canna, what's Canna going to guard you?
And Urshela.
Okay. And
Those are
Urshela.
good guys
Okay.
that you want down the line.
I agree. But I'm just, for the sake of the argument, okay, I'm just saying the Flaherty here, okay? You can't trade Jack Flaherty, and you can't sign Matt Chapman or J.D. Martinez. That's a pattern now. That, like, a bad offseason is one thing, okay? Chalk that one up. Hey, you wish you would go back and do that. But now a bad trade deadline, we call that a pattern. And that leads me to believe that there is a major concern with the capability of your general manager. That's what that leads me to believe.
And I'd say I'd take the other side of it. I'd say if you keep Skubal and you keep Flaherty, that tells me that the market's not there for him, and you're not just settling for prospects, because we've seen what happens when we've traded away guys. I mean, we've traded away Verlander, we've traded away Scherzer, Porcello, Price, all these guys for supposed blue chip prospects, and we haven't hit on a lot of them. So again, especially a guy like Tarek Skubal, a guy that you drafted, that came through your organization, shows that there is some success. But and the other thing, when you come down to it, we were talking about this before the show, September and October baseball is won by starting pitching. You got two guys who can win, go deep into games in those playoff games. Now, mind you, you got to get there first, but I'm just saying I think it's encouraging if those guys stay, because that tells me that Scott Harris isn't settling and, is basically playing chicken with the Orioles. It's like, hey, you want to win the World Series? Okay, we need Jackson Holliday as part of that trade package.
Jose Ramirez just hit another home run. It's like his fourth against the Tigers in the last 5 days. They're down 4-0.
And let me just say this about the Skubal thing. And I'm not even including Skubal being traded in that assessment, okay? Because we can sit here and make fake trades, Skubal for Jackson Holliday and 3 others. That might be the furthest thing from anything remotely happening right now. The Orioles could say, listen, guys, not happening. Like, I don't care how good Skubal is. You're not getting Jackson Holliday. You're not getting anybody else.
Yeah.
So I don't want to make fake trades. But what I am saying is that there are teams that are close to winning a World Series. There's a player that you're most likely not going to sign in Jack Flaherty. There has got to be somebody that you can get for Jack Flaherty. And again, you missed the boat on, and in fact, I don't even think I don't even want to say you missed the boat on signing JD or Matt Chapman. You screwed your season by not signing those two guys, because the Tigers would be an above 500 club right now if they. There's no way to know that, but I guarantee you they'd be 4 to 5 games better.
They can't score without
right
them.
now. They have 0 runs again today in the 8th inning. 0 runs. You cannot convince me that this team, which is 52 and 56, would not be an above 500 team. Maybe only by a game or 2, but they would be 4, 5, or 6 games better if they had one of those 2 players that they could have signed in the offseason. So you screwed your season by not doing that, and now you're going to have, by many accounts, a pretty god-awful trade deadline showing as well.
I got really nothing to add to that.
Yeah,
it's not looking good. Again, the Dodgers and Yankees, you haven't heard much about them. They're going to do something in the next 2 hours. And I think maybe the Tigers are in bed with one of them. I do believe something's going to happen here in the next couple hours, or if you're watching this later. I believe something has happened.
And again, if so, I reserve the right to change my mind.
Yes.
If nothing happens, where does that leave us with Scott Harris? Like, if nothing happens, legitimately, this would be the end of year 2.
You get another offseason, and then that's it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, only one more offseason. I don't know.
Because you can't give him another one after this.
No, you get one more offseason, and I'm not even sure if you got a bad offseason, if you have get to the trade deadline or not. I mean, this team should be much better than they are. They just should. And I know it doesn't help when you have your 2 number 1 picks, Casey Mize and Spencer Torkelson, are giving you nothing.
Nothing.
Not even 0.5.
They threw Casey Mize on the 60-day IL, and he's pissed. So I think his days here are numbered. He is pissed. I think they're pissed at him. He's injury prone. He hasn't showed what they thought he was going to show. I don't think you'll see Casey Mize here next year.
I mean,
I don't know if you'll see Torque. They might be dealt today.
He's a
a new scenery might be just what Torkelson needs. Just a fresh start. I know 30 home runs last year, and this year you're in the minors in May.
Listen, he'd be a great New York Yankee. With that short porch, he would own Yankee Stadium. I'm telling you, the Yankees we're doing business today. I'm not giving up.
Okay.
I think Ryan's right. I think Scott Harris is balking. I mean, not to use a baseball term, but I think you're right. He's balking.
And that, what? Sometimes that isn't the worst thing in the world because you don't want guys to. Sometimes if you're in over your head,
right?
Sometimes the best move is to do nothing. Just kind of sit there because you don't want to ruin the franchise any more than you've already stifled it.
Ooh.
I don't want to say he's ruined the franchise. He has certainly not done that. But if you start trading away Skubal and all these guys and getting nothing for them,
you're digging a deeper ditch.
Right, exactly. That doesn't help either. So something to keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, obviously, just really disappointed with where the Detroit Tigers are. Another team that hasn't really done much yet, which I think is the favorite to win the World Series. That's Philadelphia Phillies. I think the Phillies,
they're scuffling now.
They are, and they took a pounding to the hands of the Yankees last night. They've been pretty bad.
Don't forget, it's the dog days now.
Yeah, it is. Cleveland beat them up pretty good.
Yep.
Too, but we'll see. And there's more teams in it. If you look at the National League,
everyone's in it.
Everybody's in it except for 3 of them. So, yeah, I don't know. It's very frustrating. And just in time, ladies and gentlemen, you can now watch the Tigers on Bally's beginning on Thursday. How about that?
There we go.
I want to hear from Grace.
Yeah, the deal was done. Now, and I'd be interested in the chat, people in the chat.
You got to get the big package, though. You've got to have the ultimate package to get them.
X1, right?
No, the ultimate. There's 3 different packages still under X1.
I'm sure we got
ultimate means you got almost every channel possible.
Well,
but they're giving it away for the first 3 months as a trial.
Okay.
So you're going to come back. Everyone's going to be able to watch them. But after 3 months, if you want the Red Wings and the Pistons, you're going to have to up the ante and up your package to the ultimate package.
And that's fair enough. But again, you've wasted an entire season, but I'm glad they have it back. I'm curious to know if people
you get rid of your Bally's app?
Yeah. Heck yeah. I almost swore. Absolutely. I will ask, though, if you did switch, and even I saw over the weekend, Jennifer Hammond tweeted that she switched to DirecTV because of this dispute.
I have it. Yeah. I'm watching them right now.
You as well.
Yeah.
Are you disappointed a little bit that you switched to DirecTV?
Not even a little.
Really?
I'm still saving almost $100 a month.
Are you serious?
And I'm getting everything that I had with Xfinity.
Really?
And I'm used to it now, so I know everything what to do.
Oh, good for you.
Yep.
What do you do?
You dogged me out when I had DirecTV. When I was telling you about DirecTV.
DirecTV is not the dish anymore. It's a plug-in like Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Like Roku. It's a plug-in now.
Oh, it's not a dish anymore.
It's not a dish anymore. So if you have good internet service, you've got great television.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yep. I don't get buffering. I don't get any of that.
Now, does Xfinity have that, or do they still want the boxes? You still
I don't know. I think they have an app.
Yeah.
But I don't think they have a plug-in like that. I think they still have DVRs and stuff like that.
Wow.
I get unlimited DVR space as well. Unlimited.
So you can have all your Wednesday night football games.
I got everything. I got all my Batmans. I got everything. You name it, man. Everything is on. That DVR is chock full right now.
I love you,
What else
Tom.
is on that?
Hey, I watched Joe Buck last night. Joe Buck and
Do
Chip
what?
Carey doing the Cardinals game last night. It was phenomenal.
I don't understand.
Phenomenal television.
2 play-by-play guys doing it.
Well, they welcomed Joe Buck back. It was like, a welcome.
Oh.
They did a Harry Carey and Jack Buck look back. Chip Carey is the grandson of Harry Carey. Joe Buck is the son of Jack Buck.
What happened with Chip Carey in Atlanta?
I don't know. But he's doing Cardinal games now. He's the lead guy with St. Louis.
Yeah.
I love him. I think he's terrific.
Chip Carey's great.
He's terrific. But to hear Joe Buck last night was great. He is, to me, the voice of baseball. And it's a shame that ESPN don't use him. It is a freaking shame that I got to listen to those bozos on Sunday Night Baseball and during the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I used to like Carl Ravitch. I loved him as Baseball Tonight host. He sucks at calling games. Eduardo Perez sucks as a color commentator. David Cohn puts me to sleep. It's awful.
They should just
It's an awful booth.
They should just take the Yankees, or the Mets.
The Mets booth, yeah. Gary Cohen and those guys, Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez. I'll listen to them.
Right.
How do you feel about the Fox desk during the postseason? I love those guys. Like when it's Ortiz, when it's Jeter, when it's
I love it.
A-Rod.
They put
you like it?
Kevin Burkhardt is my man. You know
Yeah, I
that.
know that's your guy.
And he's the guy. He's the lead guy. And Poppy, Jeter, and
Jeter's super boring.
He's gonna come along, man.
Yeah,
give him a chance. He's gonna come along. Poppy's a little outlandish for me, but it is what it is.
Poppy represents this era. I think he's.
You know me. I can't look at him.
Too much.
I can't look at him and be happy for what he's done to me over the years.
Oh,
I just can't.
New York or
it's what
Detroit.
what he did with the Red Sox to my Tigers and Yankees.
Grand Slam.
I can't look at him.
Grand Slam Game 5 like that. That was tough.
Guys, we'll take a break. Come right back. When we do, we'll go around the NFL. But first, a message from
Wake Up.
Wake up, Woodward. Wake up, Woodward. The morning show. Start your day with Wake Up Woodward, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Live on Woodward Sports. Join Kool-Aid, Flano Sam, Broder, JB, and KG in the sound booth every morning as they cover all of Detroit sports, sports talk, banter, and live fan interaction. All on Detroit's #1 sports network. All Detroit's #1 sports network, Woodward Sports.
And
merch. Are you tired of the same old Detroit sports merch? It's a new era in sports wearables, new designs, amazing apparel, and the ultimate swag, including that Boo Dem Kids shirt. Football season's coming around. It's time to Boo Dem Kids. So check out Woodward Sports. Latest gear at woodwardsports.com and click shop. Hoodies, tees, and hats are guaranteed to turn heads. Get the latest designs today at woodwardsports.com and click shop.
Woo.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles, and with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit sports.
Oh, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
The most talked about Detroit media by other Detroit media, and we love it. It's the Woodward Sports Network.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
Soroki's crispy chicken and pizza with the fresh sides and the salad popping up all over Metro Detroit. They are the spot to go to right now. And don't forget about the biscuits with the honey. They are to be desired. But that Nashville Hot is what it's at. I know I'm focused on the biscuits. Now it's time to focus on Nashville Hot only for a limited time. The tenders, the fries. Fries got a little special Cajun sauce with the cheese too, man. So make sure you try those out. And then the pizza. This is what they do. Soroki's. Pull up anytime. Come enjoy the delicious.
All right, guys, you know it. Don't miss our expert sports injury insights with Dr. Jeff Pierce of Michigan Sports and Spine. Join him every Tuesday on Big D Energy. He joins us on Thursdays. Trust the guide at DMAC and Braylon Trust. Dr. Jeff Pierce is here to keep you in the game, performing at your best. For more information, visit MichiganSportsandSpine.com or call 248-426-9944 for Dr. Jeff Pierce.
All right, Bray, before we get back into it here, I have to ask about Tom Masway's night last night.
Okay.
Because he said he was going to go finish Rocky 3 from the previous night's television viewing.
Know that I've watched it 100 times.
Well, yes,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. But did you pause it in the DVR and then you picked it up?
And I picked it up.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because I fell asleep. It's getting late.
How did it go?
Again, it reiterates my projections of Rocky, my rankings. Rocky 1, one of the greatest movies of all time. Rocky 2, second. Rocky 4 in the third position. Rocky 3 in the fourth position, barely ahead of Rocky 5, 6, and 7. I think Rocky 3 had some of the worst acting, minus Apollo Creed. He was great.
Yeah, I'm okay.
What about Thunder Lips?
Thunder Lips was awful. That was an awful scene. That was an awful scene. I know, but he broke Rocky's back, and
What about
Rocky's
T?
up beating
What
him
about
up.
T?
He busted him up in real life, too.
Who'd you want me to ask for?
T.
Tony? He
Bubba
hardly
Lane.
did
What
anything.
No, T. Mr. T.
Oh, Mr. T. He was fantastic.
Hey, woman.
Mr.
Hey,
T.
woman.
Hey, I'll show you a real man. Anyway, Adrian was at her worst. She ruined the entire movie. So when he won the fight at the end, you see her in the audience. Yay! That's what she says. Yay! I'm like, oh my god.
She was at the hotel.
No, she came to the fight.
That's two.
She came to the fight.
Oh, that's right.
The first fight against Clubber was that scene in the locker room when Mickey was passing away was the best scene in the play. It was heartbreaking.
Yeah,
but it was the best scene. After that, everything went to hell. It all went to hell after that.
So when you put it in perspective, because I'm a huge Rocky fan, when you put it in those terms, I too would say that, and I'll cut it off at 5.
Yeah.
Okay. That Rocky 3 was the 4th best movie.
Yes.
Out of Rocky 5.
Hands down.
That's crazy.
Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 4, Rocky 3, Rocky 5.
Now James is a young guy, and the first one he watched, I think, was Rocky 3. Am I wrong?
First one I watched was Rocky 3.
First one I watched was Rocky 1. I watched Rocky 1 to start with, and I went in order 1 through 4. But I'll be honest, mine's 3, 4, 1, 2. That would be the order I put.
3, 4, 1, 2.
Be an age thing on that one.
How about you, Bray?
First one, Rocky 3 came out 82. I was born in 83. Rocky 4 came out 85. I told you, I know my Rocky stuff
That's
too.
what's up.
So Rocky's 4 is my favorite. But if I'm being honest, 1's the best, 2's the second best, then 4, then 3. But my favorite is 4. That's when I was born.
A lot of people's favorite
It's the
is
first
4,
one I saw. Also, 2, the reason why 3 was so bad, I think, is Rocky had already accomplished everything. Like, although it was some bad acting,
And he looks like a middleweight too. He doesn't look like
He's
himself.
small,
He was 191 pounds.
And 1, he had to get to fight Apollo. Finally fought Apollo. Great fight. In part 2, he finally gets the win over Apollo. Part 3, he's winning. Part 4, you know what I went back to? Had to go back on that grind. You know what I'm saying? The Russian kills Apollo, so he's got to go train. So it went back to that kind of grimy. I gotta have it.
If he dies, he dies.
Hey, you know what it is? You say, but to be willing, he said, but to be me.
I'll tell you that
die himself.
The scene in Russia when he's working out is really good.
It's the best montage of all time.
It was great. Pete, what do you rank him?
Let me tell you why Rocky 2 is the best.
4 is
Because they filmed 3 endings for that. There were 3 endings filmed. The one that you saw where Rocky beats the count.
Double knockout.
The one that was filmed was a draw where they both stay down at the 10 count. And the other one filmed was Apollo getting up at the 10 count and Rocky staying down. I love Rocky 2 because of the possibilities of where you could take the movie, and the storyline's great. That's my favorite.
Rocky 3 was the first movie I saw, so I didn't, I just always thought Rocky and Apollo were friends. And then you go back and you watch Rocky 1 and Rocky 2, you get older, you just appreciate the story so much. And, in Rocky 3, and I think it was even Rocky 4 too, during COVID when Sylvester Stallone recut Rocky 4, and there's that, I think it's on Amazon Prime, actually. It's like a recut of Rocky 4.
Is it really?
It's really interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
With the footage. He says he hates watching the fight scenes because of the trash can lids sounds. Like the punches If you go like the punches, they are sounds of the top lids of trash cans.
Wow.
Like smacking together.
He had the Astros there?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
damn.
It's really interesting. And then, in Rocky Balboa and Creed, the real fighting really
Well, it gets better as the years go on.
Yeah, it does.
Like Twisters is probably better than Twister.
Yes.
As
Correct.
far as the CGI and all that kind of jazz.
It's so good.
But I'll watch 4 tonight.
Yep.
In between baseball games.
4 is the one, man. But so much going on in 4. That was a lot.
Now, how do I find the one you said, the one that he recut? Because I am on
it's
Prime.
on Prime. Yeah, it's on
I'm
Prime.
on Prime. So if I go to 4, it's the new one.
Look for
Look for the parentheses behind it and it'll say like final cut. Or
Yeah,
different cut.
look for the recut of Rocky 4.
All right.
Looking for some new news here. Padres are increasingly likely to acquire a starting pitcher by 6 p.m. Jack Flaherty among the names that are discussed. That's from John Paul Morosi. I'm not seeing anything final.
Looks like Blake Snell's going to stay in San Francisco as well. So that's another pitcher the Yankees can't get. By the
Blake
way,
Snell,
Tigers just got shut out 5-0.
Yeah, it happens.
As we said yesterday, we know it's over, but now just get better for the future, and don't look like that's going to happen either.
That's right. That's right. So, really interesting. Sorry, I'm just kind of looking here.
While you're looking, I'm just going to defend Rocky 3 real quick.
real
'cause
quick.
I'm just going to say the mental side of
Good for
it
you.
as an athlete, I'm just saying
Good for you,
is,
Jack.
hey, I'm just saying, as the mental side of an athlete, you got to find your way back. There's every point in an athlete's career where you kind of lose yourself, you kind of lose that hunger, you lose the will to win, and it's like you need people like an Apollo Creed to come pick you back up. I think that training scene is probably the best one filmed on the Santa Monica Pier right there. So,
That was very nice. I like seeing the ocean.
Yeah, there's
But Rocky ain't beating the Apollo in a race. That I could tell you.
I like the elements of everything. I like when he
Can
pulls
he swim
Paulie into the
with a name like
pool.
Rock?
Yeah, I like that. I like the Clubber Lane aspect of it all.
Hey, Paulie's a pretty good name.
Right. Yeah, Paulie's a good name. I ain't got 6 years. All right, man. I ain't got 6 years for the.
I don't sweat you.
I ain't got
I'll
6
sweat
years.
you.
Right. For the NFL wrap here. Let's go around the NFL,
All
shall
right. Hey, we were talking about coaches and who respects their coach, who doesn't. Well, yesterday, Matthew Judon walked out of practice. He walked out of Patriots practice, kind of disrespected his new head coach, Jared Mayo. Would this have happened under Bill Belichick's watch?
Why did he walk out?
Yes.
They got in an argument. He wasn't practicing. They got in a verbal exchange, and he left the field.
Do you go ahead?
No,
Brian.
go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say,
He's looking for money, too. He wants a contract.
Do you feel sometimes that new coaches go after the top player a little bit just to set a little bit of a tone, almost reminiscent of Jim Leland going after Barry Bonds a little bit, or having such a strong reaction to Barry Bonds' persona at the time?
Yeah, 100%. They got to set the tone. They got to let the players know, the other players know, hey, I'm not afraid of this person. I'm going to treat them like everybody else. Everybody gets treated accordingly. I think the difference is just a different era. You can't do that. It's a certain way in which you do. And I think you're having a situation between a former player who's still young enough to have played around the same time as Matthew Judon, and the power dynamics are all off. Matthew Judon trying to get traded, trying to get paid all offseason. In fact, the last 2 seasons, trying to make that move, doesn't feel necessarily appreciated in New England, wants that change of scenery, and it just doesn't seem to be what Gerard Mayo is on. And it seems like there's a beef between those two. I mean, they play similar positions, same side of the ball, not too far in age. That conversation can go a lot of different ways. It's not the way Dan Campbell will have a conversation with a player, but I think, once again, that's that franchise that is in disarray. So it won't be long, and I think Judon's over. I think he's already in his space. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm over this team. Like, I'm ready to get out of here. Like, what are we even talking about?
It's time.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
100%.
Hey, Hard Knocks back tonight with the Giants. I'm not sure. Is it the last one, or they got one more after this? Hard Knocks in season.
One more after this.
Okay, so I'm looking forward to tonight. Tonight's the draft night. That's going to be fun. But coming up next week, Hard Knocks Chicago Bears. My Lily sent me a video today, and I wish I could show it, but it's got like music in it. But she takes us all through the whole training facility and everything. And maybe I'll send it to Pete.
Send it to me, Tom. I'll drop the music.
We'll drop it in a little bit. But I'm going to play this for you guys. Kevin Byard, who was a free agent that the Bears signed, excellent player. He sat down with 6:70 to score, Chicago the score.
Sure, absolutely.
And he had this to say about Caleb Williams and his leadership qualities that he's noticed so far.
As a veteran, somebody who is savvy, who's been around the league, and you've seen rookie quarterbacks come in and make an impact. You've also been around a lot of veteran teammates. What is it about Caleb Williams' presence that makes him different?
You know, we can all talk about, you know, his abilities and things like that. I think it's the intangibles. So I give you a great example. This was literally just yesterday, last night, we did our walkthrough. And we finished the walkthrough, and, you know, Coach, he's talked, and, you know, players usually break down. Usually a veteran breaks it down. And Caleb wanted to jump into the middle to break it down. And usually, like, you know, as a rookie, he's like, oh, what does this guy got to say?
Right.
But no, he honestly was just like, hey, first thing he says, he's like, hey, man, we're all grown men here, right? You know, as we're going through training camp, and we all use the hot tub, we all use the cold tub, we all use the bathroom and all the areas. He was like, hey, man, like, we're getting a little too sloppy. You know what I'm saying? We're leaving water bottles and towels and all type of things around, man. Like, these custodians have a lot of square footage they have to cover in this whole building. Let's try to help them out by cleaning up after ourselves. And that's just little things, man, because I just think that when you want to be a great player, you always focus on the little details. You know what I mean? Not even just the details of the play, but the details of everything around you. You know, it's this old video of Ed Reed was kind of talking about the year they won the Super Bowl, about how guys were not picking up their towels after the showers. And he was just like, man, how are we going to be great if we can't pick up our towels? And it's just like little things like that just makes the guy special. Like I said, I think Bears fans are in for a treat for a little while with Caleb Williams for sure.
So there you have it. There's Kevin Byard talking about a very cool thing that I think Caleb Williams did. He told his guys, all these veterans, hey, guys, let's help the custodians. They got a huge place. I'm going to show you the place. Matter of fact, Pete, you could play the video. My daughter Lily sent this to me today. She's out at Chicago Bears training camp. She's an intern, and she sent this video. This is Bears camp. And as I'm talking, it's a huge place. Hallis Hall is beautiful. I mean, this is what the Lions want. And they will get just what the Jets have in Florham Park, Braylon. You could talk how beautiful that place is. But Caleb Williams is like, hey, guys, let's help these people out. Pick up after yourself. How hard is it? Like, I yell at my daughters every single day. Why you got to throw this on the floor when you have a hamper or a garbage can? I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool of Caleb.
Yeah, I think it's dope too. You know, we've talked about this. You know, they show you so much on social media. They show you so much on, you know, TV. They don't necessarily show you the in-depth of what a person is behind the scenes, when he's with his players, when he's in the locker room, when he's conducting practice film. And so, you know, Chris Canty said it. You know, whether it's the black fingernails, or polish, or whatever else, none of that matters if a guy comes in and he does exactly what he's supposed to do and he becomes a leader in that number one overall pick. I mean, so far, sounds good out of Kevin Byard. Sounds like he cares about more things than just offense and just himself. He cares about the well-being of the janitorial and the maintenance staff at Hallis Hall. So that's small steps in the right direction.
Okay.
Like, that's what you want a leader to be. You want a leader to see all things. And actually, I think the biggest thing is what Kevin Byard said. He wasn't scared to come into the middle of the huddle and break it down and say those things. Like, when you're a rookie, Ryan, I don't care where you get drafted. Like, you're very leery of that huddle very early on. Like, you want to make sure you kind of earn that right to break it down and be called on. Some guys just feel it. They know they're leaders. They go for it, and then they start in the place, and then they don't stop. So that's good news for the Chicago Bears.
Nobody ever said he was a bad kid.
Yeah.
Right.
He's a good kid. I just don't like him as a football player.
Okay. Well, here he is on the podium, and one of the reporters
Some
asked
guys,
him,
they just hate for no reason.
that's you. So anyway, they asked him about what part of his
Hater.
game is furthest away right now. What part of Caleb Williams' game is furthest away so far? Here's what he had to say.
Furthest away. It's a good question. I would say right now, working on my got me with that one, stumped me. I would say working on my blitz looks, my blitz and coverage looks, and feeling the umbrella of the defense, and filling that out to adjust, to adjust protection, to adjust, whether it's a run, flip the run, flip the, run into it, flip the protection, get to a quick game, get to a cover zero check. However the structure of it works out, just progressing, and a lot of that comes with seeing it and reps, and so that's why also preseason and those things are so important.
There you go, Rye.
The funny thing is, I saw how he smacked his lips and he was looking up into space. I said, "This is what Ryan hates about Caleb Williams." I'm gonna speak on the X and O side. You can talk about that.
I don't think it will play in an NFL locker room. The way you talk to people matters.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to be a dude. Be one of the dudes. Be one of the guys. It feels like, and I'm just, again, I'm sorry to hate. I just don't like him as a player. I just don't like him.
I will say this, Ryan, before I talk about.
And by the way, can I just say, that's okay in sports.
Yeah.
You like players.
Yeah.
You hate players. You love players. You don't like players.
I think he might get on you for that.
That is what sports is all about, by the way.
Sports hate.
That's
Sports hate is real.
Now, I think he's a good kid.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know what I mean?
Well, you don't really know. We don't know.
I don't know. I don't know him from
Can of Paint.
Tom and Taylor.
I'll ask Lily later because she got to drive him around the golf cart today. I'll ask him what kind of guy he is. I'll ask him.
I'm gonna make an analogy here, or not an analogy, but more of a metaphor. Like, you better get used to it, Ryan. And this is why. I went to see Deadpool versus Wolverine.
Oh, yeah.
I went to see it last Thursday.
Blockbuster movie of the summer.
It is. It's like $437 million in like week one or some nuts like that. But Ryan, I'm watching the movie and I'm trying to assess the movie for what it is, but I'm still looking through the lens of what I'm used to. I'm still looking through the lens of what Marvel movies have been, what Deadpool movies have been, what was 2011 and 12 and 15 and 07, 08, blah, blah, blah. And it's just not that. Like, it was real fluffy. It was real trendy in the movie, Ryan. Like, the things they added, a lot of inclusion on things that I was confused about, didn't know what was going on in a lot of the scenes, a lot of movies. So I think that's what you're going to get with new players, though. I guess it's a different day. It's a different era. And you're going to start seeing a lot more players like Caleb Williams that just don't remind us of the football players that we grew up liking. They're not the old school players, or they're not the types. You're like, yeah, this is a guy I see lead my team. This is a guy I can see win the Super Bowl. They're going to get more and more like Caleb Williams. It's just 2024. It's changing, man.
Yeah, these kids are. Let's face it. This is the Instagram, TikTok age. That's what it is. These kids of today didn't grow up like we did.
TikTok or social media.
Yeah, we grew up with nothing. We just grew up with go ahead out. When the street lights come on, I'll go home.
Right.
That was it, and it's not that anymore.
You hear a bell and you come back home and go to get dinner.
Or you hear. I used to hear my.
Better be home where that bell's still echoing.
My buddy's name was Dario. Is a Dario. His abuela would yell out the window, Dario. That was Dario. He was so embarrassed.
Oh my
He'd
God.
have to leave us and come
That is
home.
the best.
All of us were there for the light, but Dario. That means dinner was ready.
Right.
He's got to get home and eat dinner with the family. Poor Dario.
Do that one more time,
Unbelievable.
man.
Dario. Abuela, I'm coming.
Do you ever hear from Dario ever?
I stay in touch with him, of
Really?
course. Yeah, on Facebook.
Oh, man.
I got a lot of North
Is he
Bergen
back
friends
in
on
Jersey?
Facebook. Oh, yep, stayed in Jersey.
That's
Doing
awesome.
well. Looks good. Bike rides a lot.
Full
Much
head
better
of hair.
shape. Much better shape than me. I look back at some of my North Bergen friends. I'm like, okay, I went this direction. I went to school with some dummies that are now retiring with a couple of $100,000 jobs. $300,000.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, and here I am. I can't rub two quarters together. I can't change a freaking quarter. I don't know what the hell I've done wrong, but I've done a lot wrong.
You've done
in
a
my
lot.
life.
You've done a lot
A
right
lot.
too, man.
I mean a lot, and it continues.
You've done way more right than you have
Thanks,
wrong.
brother.
Awesome.
Thanks,
The
brother.
other side of that is him. That's just blitz protection. That's post snap, pre snap. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about being able to read the coverages, pre snap, seeing what they're going to offer him, what they're going to show, and then being able to take that second look and post snap. And that's just harder for a rookie quarterback coming into the NFL because the game is faster. The defensive coordinators are specializing in these defensive packages. But it just goes back to the team that he's on. He's coming into a team where he has one of the best wide receivers in Keenan Allen, another very good wide receiver in DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift at the running back position, and offensive line, and Cole Kmet. So his process will be a lot faster than most rookie quarterbacks in terms of figuring things out. Because he's playing with elite players, and they're going to help him speed up that learning curve.
The chat wants me to get Dario on the show.
See if we can get him up one day. I got to get one more break in. We'll do that
Figure
now.
out Focaccio.
Right, we'll do that now. But first, a message from Braylon Edwards and...
Join the best youth football league in Metro Detroit. The Boys and Girls Club of Southeastern Michigan's 3C Sports League offers youth ages 5 to 14 a chance to play in this exciting 6-team league from Detroit, Belleville, Highland Park, and East Point. All coaches are trained, certified, and undergo background checks, so don't worry. Your head coach or your cheer coach will be an official as a referee with a whistle. Register for football at cheer@bgcsm.org. Equipment, meals, and transportation included for all for a chance to play at Ford Field, home Kings of North Detroit Lions. Register now.
Thank you to the Detroit Lions and Sheila Hamp for the best season in Lions history. Now it's time to let Brad Holmes cook. Woodward Sports.
little pop shot,
Premier
little
Pet
quarterback.
Supply, man. Just looking around. Who's got it better than pets?
That Kamala Harris.
Come on, a baby stroller for
Trying to
Coda?
get him a fight.
A chef for Lola? Really? You don't have to tell me who the real boss here is. Who's got it better than pets? Nobody, especially here at Premier Pet Supply. For over 30 years and more than 13 locations, Premier Pet Supply has everything that your pet can dream of, and guess what? It's all under one roof. Premier Pet Supply, family owned, operated, and proud to call Metro Detroit home. Check out premierpetsupply.com or scan the QR code today. Who's got it better than pets?
Nobody! A network for the city, by the city. Woodward Sports is Detroit Sports.
The Ally Challenge presented by McLaren is back August 22nd through 25th at Warwick Hills and Grand Blanc. Be there for PGA Tour Champions Golf, Family Night, concerts, and more. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours at allychallenge.com today.
Yo, let me just say, I love Planet Fitness.
Trying out Planet Fitness and dang, they got lots of equipment.
Not me getting a Planet Fitness membership just for the 24-hour perk.
Listen, the PF Black Card is worth every penny for this hydro massage. I'm a new man.
Did y'all know that the PF app has workouts you can do at home? Cheapest therapy I can find is Planet Fitness.
All the benefits, all for less. Planet Fitness, big fitness energy for all.
Congratulations to the real Coach of the Year, Motor City Dan Campbell.
Just put your head down and go to work. It's about to be fun, man. It's about to be fun.
Woodward Sports.
To any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men and claim your throne for a king's treatment from one of our talented stylists. Open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Just get to a Lady Jane's today and receive a precision haircut, scalp massage, hot lather neck shave, and a hot towel treatment. A haircut should not be a chore. It should be an experience. And that's exactly what Lady Jane's has to offer. Open 7 days a week. Walk-ins are always welcome. There's always a location near you. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Here we go. How would you like to play at the University of Michigan golf course with Braylon Edwards? Braylon, I'd love to play golf with you, bro. I'd love to play golf with Braylon Edwards. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Register today, and you could round off our foursome at woodwardsports.com or scan the code on the screen right above my head. When it comes to your next car or truck, the wise decision, make it Randy Wise Automotive. Back to you, boys.
Foursome talk is crazy.
Yeah, right? Oh, man, so great. Having a little fun here on a rainy. All of a sudden, where'd this rain come from? My goodness, it's like pouring out there in Birmingham.
Hey, the Tigers made a deal.
Yeah, what'd they do?
They traded Andrew Chafin to the Rangers. So there goes the Spencer lookalike from the back.
Yeah, doesn't see Jeff Passan. Here we go. Jeff Passan, 3 minutes ago. Texas Rangers finalizing a deal to acquire left-hander Andrew Chafin from the Detroit Tigers, and Ken Rosenthal, Andrew Chafin to the Rangers, pending a medical review. Nobody back. Anyway, it doesn't say.
Right. It'll be a couple
back.
minor
Yeah,
leaguers.
yeah.
It'll be a minor leaguers. Maybe a couple $100 thrown in as well.
Yep.
For the soda machine, just like they did it's Billy Bean. Remember Billy Bean? You got to pay for my soda. I'll give you Carlos Pena, but you got to pay for my soda.
Speaking of all this rain, you know who else was raining Tom Massaway, Ryan Ermanni? Your boy was raining on the pop shot at Jalen DeRose event. So we did the deal down at MGM Grand at Top Golf Suite. All these basketball players, guess who walked out with the high score? Pete rolled the tape.
Whoa. Music, Bray, so we get to talk over it.
Anyway, so my sister goes over here. She wants to
Lower it down.
I am trying. Hang on. Gotta find the phone.
Got 81, gets the record, and then somebody breaks her record, and Big Bro had to come up here and show him how to do it. So you see the form around her mind. Oh, a little flub right there. See, 3, 4. 5.
Where was this at?
This is at MGM in the Top Golf Suite.
What are you, a machine?
Real shooter shoot with both hands.
No, not a Papa shot.
Not Papa shot. It takes too long.
Dude, look at your machine.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
what'd you get?
You about to show it. You see the wrist though? Like that's a real shot. Look at it.
Totally.
Look at that. Yeah.
Did you win a big teddy bear?
I won nothing but my pride and respect.
Oh, well, how many tickets did you
But that's
get?
all you want to get anyway. You just want the high score and everybody to know that you had it. You know what I'm saying?
Just like GLC. George Louis Costanza on the Frogger machine.
Dude, look at this. Great, Bray.
Not too many misses, Big Ryan.
Oh, man, you look good, buddy.
Look at him.
Trying to
He's
be
in
like,
the zone.
when you nailed that.
I like to believe I'm a Papa shot expert myself. But
Let's get it going.
I can't do that.
Let's get it going.
I want to see what the score was.
It's up there.
Are you
25 seconds.
Still going.
25.
Still going.
Oh, man.
I hit the bonus round.
Damn, Bray.
Who's
damn.
filming? We gotta update your guy filming, dude.
Still going. Don't worry. It's gonna show. It's gonna.
What's that sideways camera, man? What's going on?
Well, my girl's recording.
10 seconds. Oh, dang.
Oh, 158?
This is what I do, man.
Jesus.
Wow.
I think I got 70 once.
This is what you do. I had to, man. Dude shouldn't be my Stackhouse. Went on the machine, did well, but nobody beat that 150.
Unbelievable. Bray, good job, man. Good job.
Good to be back, man. Good to have the crew back, as you said.
Hey, Bray, we didn't play your football, though.
Oh, this is Brian. This is
another one.
This is your type of speed right here.
Oh, yeah.
You see it opened up. One throw, one take, Jake. By the way,
Yeah, we'll loop that. We'll do it again.
Did you talk to Aaron Rodgers at all?
I did. I got a chance to talk to him right before they were doing 7-on-7. He looks good. He feels good. He says he's ready. He says he's ready to rock and roll. Like I said earlier, the big thing is that offense. It seems like the offense has some continuity and they trust each other. So it's gonna be fun to see how they grow. That AFC East is wide open. I told you I don't trust Buffalo. I will continue to say I don't trust Buffalo and what Sean McDermott does year in and year out. I don't think they've been the same team since that AFC Championship. And Maz, correct me if I'm wrong, they haven't been the same team since they lost that Kansas City Chiefs game in overtime.
You're right.
The
man.
one that you
They
love
left it
so
all
much,
on the table.
They
there.
left it all on the table,
Yep.
including their future. I just don't see them as the same team. Miami, do you trust Miami in the Northeast
What have they done?
January?
What have they done?
I don't trust them at all as far as I can throw them. And we just showed you the New England Patriots' best player walking off the field after talking to their coach, Gerard Mayo.
Yep.
It's up for grabs.
The last time Miami did anything was Dan Marino, right? He took them as far as they've been since they won their Super Bowls.
They had one playoff win, I think, in 2008, a random playoff.
Yeah.
Win. Other than that, nothing.
Not
Ricky
cool,
Williams, man.
Hey, I got a video to show you guys.
Okay.
Pete, let's get that Cleveland
man,
Browns
videos
security
of-
team video going.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Today
Yep.
was a great
I got it.
That was
Ready
the
to go.
best-
Here we go.
Check, this is the Cleveland Browns security team practicing how to get a fan off the field.
Oh, my God, stop.
Look at this.
This guy's
Let's hear it too, Pete.
This guy's
No,
having-
there's a few things in there.
Oh, they tackled him for real. How
Show
much
it
extra
again.
did that guy get paid?
Someone's got to clock that, man.
Someone
that
had
was
to
too
be
slow.
a dummy to run out there, right?
So funny.
Too
They
slow,
looked like
man.
they were locked in too. They didn't fall for the fakes really. That was good.
The only thing that would make that more realistic is if the subject was nude.
Hold on, that happened at the Tigers game. What happened at the Tigers game? Yeah, what happened with that?
Handcuffed.
That's not a good look.
I'll tell you what, man. Those kids in handcuffs are getting a lot of play online.
Yeah, for sure.
They're getting a lot. I wonder what happened to those kids.
Right?
I wonder what happened to them
doubt.
and their parents. By the way,
Free
great
tickets.
parenting.
Free tickets.
Do you
Tigers
agree?
game.
Do you agree they should have been handcuffed, Ryan?
No, I
Yeah.
don't think they should have been handcuffed.
I didn't even know the whole context. I saw him running.
But I'm
the field
not
last-
like outraged that they were.
Okay, I like that.
Does that make sense?
It does.
How about the new T-shirt? Cuff them kids.
Cuff them kids.
Cuff them kids.
I don't think they should have been handcuffed, but I'm not outraged that they did.
So at the end of the
Like,
day,
where's the parents?
y'all want to look too far, but at the same time, you broke the rule. Y'all jumped.
I've been on Twitter, man. I haven't seen a damn thing besides the Tigers sending Andrew Chafin to the Rangers.
I know, that's kind of what I've been a little distracted by a little bit. Is continuing to get the latest information for the trade deadline.
2 hours to go.
My buddy Chris Getz sent Paul DeYoung to the Royals.
He's good. He's a good
Gavin
player.
Crochet screwed your guy,
Yeah,
Getz,
I know.
because he wanted to get an extension to
I
be
know.
traded to a playoff
I
team.
know.
They could have gotten a haul for him.
I know.
A haul.
Screwed him.
Damn.
But he's a good pitcher.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Bray, get us out of here. I'll be here tomorrow.
We'll be back to do this thing tomorrow. The Money and Networks with Maz Wednesday.
Big show tomorrow.
Big show tomorrow.
Jason
Live.
Benetti joins us
Jason
tomorrow.
Benetti. Speaking of the Detroit Tigers, we'll be asking some questions after the trade deadline where the Tigers will move on for the rest of the season. Good show. I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Excited. He's brought some life back into that booth a little bit, man. So excited.
A lot.
about him. A lot of life. And then more Lions training camp. Training camp, the gift that keeps on giving. For my man James, peace, back. Appreciate your work today in that TD booth.
Thank you, my
Tom
friend.
Mazaway walking the Team USA Curtis
Yes,
Granderson
sir.
edition, who took home the goal. I am Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Tom Mazaway. We are Monty Edwards.
See you guys.